CashFlow Diary Podcast, episode 24.
Congratulations, you showed up. Give yourself a high five in celebration of your success. Welcome to the CashFlow Diary, where new and experienced investors come to take confident action towards their goals. Your host is a family man, a real estate entrepreneur, investor, coach, and instructor. As a master facilitator of Robert Kiyosaki's Cashflow 101 game, he's inspired many to begin their journey into creating cash flow for themselves and their family. And now, here he is to offer you the tools required to earn the income desired. Your cash flow coach, Jay Massey.
Hello, everyone. Hopefully you are enjoying the series that we're currently doing with the live events. And I hear from you guys that you like them, so hopefully you're liking this one as well. Obviously, I do get the privilege of helping lots of individuals in live events when invited. And I like doing it, and I like sharing it, and I'm glad that you listen. Hopefully you gain something from them, from other people's questions, other people's thoughts and ideas. And as you can see, if you've been listening for any length of time, I don't like sugarcoat my answers or anything else that I have to say. Anyway, if this is your first time joining us, make sure that you check out episode 1 to understand the format of the show. And if you haven't already, feel free to go over to learninvestingnow.com, and you will get a free e-course on wholesaling. See, that course was very important for me, and those strategies, those tips, those ideas were very important for me because, as many of you already know, when my wife and I first started, when it came into real estate, we were in a horrible situation, or at least what most people would consider to be horrible. She had hyperemesis. She couldn't eat or drink. I couldn't walk or talk without fainting. I had a hole in my lung. We were selling our personal possessions on eBay. And, we were squatting in bank-owned property. Some would call it homeless, right? It is what it is. And by understanding the information inside the wholesaling course that I'm providing to you for free, you have the ability to get yourself out of whatever situation you're in. Anyway, make sure you go over to learninvestingnow.com. Hopefully, you'll find some value in it. If you have any questions, though, feel free to send them in 800-689-1764. You can leave us a message there. We'll do our best to get to those questions as well. And as always, I'm very, very glad that you listen. So hopefully today's quote will also help you continue on your journey. So let's do this. Let's see. Here's the quote. It says, intelligent, successful, attractive people can be intimidating. They force us to hold a mirror to ourselves. We can be disappointed, jealous, or inspired toward personal growth. That comes to us from a Dr. Ian Smith. Many of you may know him. I'm told that he's on VH1 Celebrities Fit Club series, The View. He's been a correspondent on NBC News. And I find the quote interesting because you and I, we're on this journey to get better, obviously. We're on this journey to do our best, become bigger, better people. And occasionally, not always, the individuals that we're already hanging around aren't participating in that same process of growth. And therefore, it becomes difficult for us to later relate. And what ends up happening is that, time goes by, we see them again, and then suddenly we serve as a mirror of what they could be, but are currently not. And I know some of you have experienced this, and it hurts, it's painful, but I just want to tell you, don't let that slow you down. Keep going. Because you are intelligent, successful, and attractive. And doing those things that we do as real estate entrepreneurs and business owners, etc., makes you more of all of those things. And that's okay. So keep playing the big game. That's part of what I hope we are all doing here together, is playing the big game. And what I want to do is we've got 2 10-minute segments on this particular series. for today. So I want to make sure that we get right into them and that you begin to listen. I'm going to come back and talk to you a little bit about the first and second one after they're done. And I will remember to make sure that we are prepared for our cash flow question. So make sure that you have something to write down the question with, and so that you can send in your answers when we get to that part. In the meantime, let's get this party started. These are all, see, notice how a lot of this has absolutely nothing to do about like property. It has a lot to do with you, right? And I was telling the gentleman last night, he was like, okay, so Jay, what's my realistic, those were the words, what's my realistic ability to be able to execute this? How long is it going to take me to do something like this? I'm like, that depends on you. He's like, okay, I get that. I'm willing to do it. I was like, yeah, it depends on you. It's a personal growth issue. And he was like, what do you mean? Like, if you are the right person who you need to be today, you could do what I just showed you tomorrow and be able to raise $2.4 million. If you're not, then you can't. And it's going to take some time. The only difference is you and your skill sets and the ability to communicate this particular information. That's what he had to understand. Now, he said he was going to do some things. We'll see. And that's what I told him, because we all like to do this. We say, okay, I'm like, for example, you leave the seminar and go, I'm absolutely going to implement that on Monday, right? And then for whatever reason, Monday comes and goes, and you didn't do it, and you're okay with it. One of the things that I've seen and learned that you must find, not only in yourself, but in your partners and people that you do work with when it comes to these teammates, is absolute integrity. Period. Do what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it. I don't know how, I can't stress that enough, because believe it or not, because here's the question you're going to ask me. Jay, how do you do deals with no money, no credit? You know what it comes down to? The seller at the other end of the table believes that I'm going to close. That's what it comes down to. It doesn't come down to price. It doesn't come down to even terms. It doesn't come down to anything other than they believe me more than the next person. Period. Absolutely, because you're like, hold on, what if they wanted to pay more, right? He's like, that does not compute. This is what I meant by changing your context. This is exactly why that's important. Because when we get later into the actual skill sets of what I do in a deal to actually communicate this stuff, if you don't have the, I need the last blue piece of tape. If you don't have the right context, it doesn't make sense, right? Okay? If you don't have the right context, it doesn't make sense. And here's what I mean. What's your name, sir? Johnny? Do me a favor, stand up. Everyone look at Johnny, say hi, Johnny. Johnny. No. Just keep the chair behind you. Trust me, you're going to need it for this one. Give Johnny the microphone. It's going to be great. Awesome. I promise you have the ability to do this. Johnny, sit down. Why did you sit down? I did, but why did you really sit down? I'll show you why. Stand up. Do me a favor. Move the chair stand up. Move the chair from under him. Don't move. Sit down. Why did you not sit down? Yeah, you do remember Simon Says, but it was the same thing. Why did you not sit down this time? That was the trick, is for you to not sit down. The only reason you didn't sit down is because you knew there was nothing there to hold your weight. You didn't believe sitting down would be in your best interest. No matter what I said, even if maybe I could have paid you enough eventually to get you to sit down, but it still would have left a sour taste in your mouth because it would have hurt. Make sense? You can't get anyone to do anything unless they want to do it. And they're only going to do what they believe, keywords, are in their best interest. I can't make you sit down. Only because you knew that chair would hold your weight. Did you do it? You believed the chair was capable of performing. The chair could close. You sat down. When the chair was removed, you couldn't. Now, you need to learn to become as reliable as that chair when you're looking at the seller. That's exactly what I mean. Nothing else.
Confidence.
That's part of it. But it's also the fact that I have a reputation for, if you get an offer from this guy, he will close. They know I will close. If I tell you I'm going to call you at 2, I call you at 1:59. If I tell you that I'm going to call you back in 2 days with the results of whatever it is that I was supposed to do for you, even if I don't have it, I call you back within 2 days and tell you that I don't have it. Everyone inside my company operates by this rule, or you don't stay in my company. Because everything, all of that stuff matters. You don't refer a company that you don't believe can perform to your friends. A realtor doesn't, the reason you have to come up with so much money for earnest money is because they don't believe you're going to close. There are oftentimes earnest money is not even part of my conversation. I'm in a deal right now. It never even came up. And I was like, oh yeah, I guess we just need to put $10 in or something. It was never even part of the conversation. They were only concerned, could I close? And that's just because that's who I've learned to become. I wasn't that way at the beginning. Please understand that. It wasn't that way at the beginning. And that's the whole point. Now, am I perfect? No. This morning I was supposed to be downstairs at 7:50 and Jacob was waiting for me. And you know what? I wasn't. Because my stupid electric shaver. Anyway, I can't. The point is, A, I need a new electric shaver. I really should have bought one a long time ago, and I'm just darn too cheap to go do it. But B, I still should have been there. Does that make sense? Because I said it's 7:50. And at the end of the day, every one of those little promises adds up and builds character. So, for example, tomorrow when you say I'm going to wake up at 6 and you wake up at 6:02, that's the problem. It starts internally. And when you begin to internalize that sense of integrity, you can't help but exude it everywhere you go. If that comes across as confidence or surety or what have you, that's fine. But we being human beings, we pick up on stuff like that. We just do. And many times, especially women, they'll say, I don't know, I just believe him. They don't know why, they just do. And it doesn't matter why. The point is, that's who you are. It's like sometimes when you talk to some people, you just feel slimy and dirty. Yeah, same thing, you're just like, I don't know, I just don't trust him. He gives me the willies. Right? Same thing. What's that? If the dog doesn't like them, all that type of stuff. There's something to that. And you need to become a person that has that, because everybody's got money. That's not what distinguishes me in my offer. What distinguishes me is that we close, period. What distinguishes me is that they know I'm going to follow through. And when I say they, I mean every party involved, contractors especially. I've never had a contractor come back to me and say, you didn't pay me. No, yes, I did. I paid everybody. They all get paid. They all may not get hired again, but they all get paid. And the thing is, I'm sorry, I forgot your name already. Was it Joey? No. Johnny. Johnny. The thing is, I know this is it okay if I be a little direct? That's good. I was going to do it anyway. You probably don't trust you because you've let yourself down on so many of your own promises to yourself that they're picking up on that too. We do that a lot. Simple promise. No, I'm just saying in general that when you're having difficulty getting things done, this is usually the issue. It's people feel and know, and because you doubt yourself so much that they pick up on it too. You're like, I don't really know. I really don't know. But this is how it should work, so could you please give me some money so I can go do this deal? Does that make sense?
So you're talking about the transaction.
Transaction, or it's not even just transaction. I'm talking about all levels of this. These people who support the rest of the organization don't get up every day just to get paid. They want to be a part of something. Am I going to get my paycheck? Because that's definitely an issue. I employ people who are older than me. One of the things that they're concerned about is, can this young kid actually pay me? I got retirement to think about, and he's got all this kind of time. I don't. Can I get paid? And if they don't believe that, they're not going to work. Does that make sense? So it's not just the transaction, it's everything. All right. Couple of things to note from that first section is you heard me talk about the word realistic, and it was very brief, but just a quick phrase that I was taught that I want to make sure I share with you. There's no such thing as an unrealistic goal. Now, there may be unrealistic timeframes, but no such thing as an unrealistic goal. You say to me, hey, I want to own 1,000 free and clear units in the next 7 years. Great. That's it's not an unrealistic goal, 1,000 free and clear units. What may be unrealistic for you is the 7-year period. We don't know, and it's okay. So always, in my opinion, you always want to try to set the goals for the shorter time period that then you actually think you can get it done, because you never know until you start trying just how quickly something could be attainable for you. Many of you know, if you've been listening for any length of time, you understand that part of the reason that I'm doing this is to document and help other people do what I've been able to do. I'm not saying that, I'm uber special or anything of that nature. I'm just saying I get asked, how do you do, these questions? I get asked these questions all the time. How did you go from where you started to owning the number of properties that you do? And I want to make sure that other people understand that it's not superhuman and that your goals are not unrealistic. You just might have unrealistic time frames attached to them. The other thing that you heard me talk about was the idea of accountability. Now, accountability can come in two forms, and unfortunately or fortunately, depending on your perspective, most of us are used to, we grow up with a lot of outside accountability and very little inside accountability. When I say outside accountability, I mean that accountability that comes from a source that is outside yourself, period. So it comes from mom or dad or an authority figure, a police person, a teacher, a boss, etc. And we must learn to develop to the point to where we have that accountability on the inside, where we can hold ourselves accountable to whatever we said we were going to do when we were going to do it. Because becoming an entrepreneur requires that. That is not a skill set you get to skip. You must find a way to make that happen. And that's your responsibility, no one else's. So you don't have anyone else to fault for not being able to accomplish that. It's all you. And now you know, so you can't even use well, I didn't know that anymore. And then lastly, you heard me mention about learning to become. That's the key. You can learn to become any part of this you want to. And give yourself that freedom to start over today. And if you need someone else to give you that freedom, I give it to you. You can start over today. You said you were going to write 20 offers last week. You didn't. Okay, start over today. You said you were going to make 15 phone calls. Great. You didn't. Start over right now. You said you were going to go ahead and go over to learninvestingnow.com and get started on wholesaling, but you haven't. Do it now. Right? All of those things are important. And learning to become the person who is capable of owning and controlling the assets that you're looking for is key. Oftentimes I'll tell people when they're asking for a goal or saying that, one day I want to have this and go here and do this. And I said, then you need to learn to become the person whose character is capable of having this and going there and doing that. And I think that has helped a number of people, and hopefully it helps you. So we got one more segment to go through, but before we do, let's make sure we get over to our cash flow question. If you remember last time, the question was, other than using other people's money, name at least 3 other types of leverage real estate provides. So when I was using the term leverage, it's being able to accomplish more with very little of your own. So maybe you put a little bit of your own in, but you use a resource of someone else's to be able to accomplish more than you otherwise would be able to do on your own. So in this case, some possible answers could have been time, knowledge, credit, expertise, and of course, wisdom. Wisdom being hard earned after making the mistakes and figuring out how to do it right and then the second time through. So those are all resources that you can leverage from other people through partnerships and through intelligent and smart mentoring and understanding how to work with others and helping them get what they're looking for. They'll often be willing to give you things that you need. So remember, time, knowledge, credit, expertise, and wisdom. Yes, money is obviously on the list, but those were some of the other answers that we were looking for. Okay, so this week we're going to make it a little bit easier for you to win the book. And if you're wondering what book, it is soon to be released. It is going to be my cash flow creation system. If you absolutely want to know something about the book ahead of time, feel free to go over to CashFlowCreationSystem.com. Anyway, the book's coming out, and a free copy is going to the person who can answer this question. So you can send in your answer to 800-689-1764, 800-689-1764, or email it in to cashflowquestion@cashflowdiary.com. And today, I'm going to make it easier. I'm going to give you multiple choice. All right. So what does that mean? That means only one response per person. Because it's multiple choice, yeah, you could email us 4 times or 9 times or how many ever times it took to get the correct answer, right? No, not this time. One response per person. All right? So, this week's question. Howard Gardner, in his 1983 book, Frames of Mind, states a theory of multiple intelligences. Those multiple intelligences are musical, visual, verbal, logical, bodily, interpersonal, intrapersonal, naturalistic, and existential. Of those that I just mentioned, which one is typically also considered and called the success intelligence? This is the intelligence that many have said, if you don't have this one, you won't be successful. So just send in your answer, 800-689-1764, or email us at cashflowquestion@cashflowdiary.com and tell us which of the 9 intelligences is the one necessary for success. All right, let's get over to the next session of the live segments. So let's address some of these issues that you have brought up. You said finding property. Well, get this. Every customer, let me see if I can find 40 points. Where is it? Every business has to find a customer. So let's brainstorm. There's, 20, 30 of us in here right now? I think there's enough collective brain power in here, even right now, to be able to come up with some of these solutions. What are some ways? What was your name again, sir? Raymond mentioned one of them. He said, when I was working at the bank, they had mailers. Okay. So in order to send a mailer, what do you need? A list, right? So a list could be a way to find people. But in order to generate a list, what must you have on that list to generate it? What kind of data? Give me another name for that same data. What? The name and addresses. Give me a global name for the name and the addresses in those columns that you're thinking of. A database, that's where you're going to hold it, but let's call that top level information criteria. Does that make sense? Yeah, the criteria is what you're looking for, because you don't want just everybody's name and address. You want certain people's names and addresses, right? Because this is what we were talking about. You're like, and that certain people comes from clarity. The bank is clear, demographics, absolutely. The bank is clear on who it is that they want to serve. That's where this clarity begins, okay? Is who it is that you want to serve. So, but before we go there, give me some other ways that you could find people. Shout them out. Networking, I like it. Perfect. What else? Networking. I heard bandit signs. Keep going. Mm-hmm. Newspaper. Okay, be careful with social media because you could be playing. I know you. Database. Let's go with Craigslist. Absolutely. What else? What else did you said that I haven't written down? Bird dog. Absolutely. Okay, what else? Oh, yes. I like both of those. Word of mouth, and I'm going to call it COIN, Center of Influence Networking. What else? Yes, that's fun. Do that with a person, by the way. You never canvas by yourself. It's more fun that way. It's more fun. It's really a lot more fun. What else? Is this it? Referrals? Okay, sure. Are you trying to tell me this room of people you guys are, see, I've just totally messed up referrals, but you know what that was. 3-foot rule. Okay, what else? Come on. There's more. What's that? Going to the county courthouse. Yes, I have stories. All right? Because courthouse. Absolutely. Here's what say who wants to find a quick way to get a discount on a property? Show of hands. Quick way to get a discount. Excellent. Eviction court. It's held on the same time, all the time. If you go, you'll learn who the property managers are, and you'll learn who the owners are. And you want to talk to both as they exit the court. Why? Because they're mad. They're frustrated. They own something that you want, and they're now thinking in their head, this gosh darn tenant property, blah, blah, blah. I wish I could sell it. Or something like that. Okay? There's nothing wrong with following them right outside the courtroom and saying, hey, the judge was talking about this property, that's yours? And he's like, yeah, and I hate it, blah, blah, blah. Well, is it okay if I buy it? You want it? Yes. But he just said all this, I know. Because you are not looking for property, you're looking for problems. Okay? And that's what I'm doing. I'm looking for problems. Show me a problem, I bring the solution, and because I bring the solution, I get paid. And that's what you are doing. Okay? So understand, we're still working on the context here. But courthouse is great because you can buy land, you can find single family, you can find commercial, you can find all kinds of stuff because they're all in trouble. That's why they're at the courthouse. The problems come to you. You just sit and wait and choose which one you want to deal with. Sometimes, depending on the judge, it can be very entertaining. And especially with the owner, because sometimes you could tell the people who just really didn't know what they were doing. You're never doing any one thing solely that. You're always looking for money, you're always looking for houses, and you're always looking for more people to be a part of the team to help you execute your vision. But if you can't articulate your vision if you're not clear. You don't really have a vision until you're clear. Make sense? Oh, I haven't got code enforcement. Yeah, you want to talk about people that are my friends now? I got code enforcement. I mean, I just came back from, where did I come back from? Memphis. I was like, where was I this time? Code enforcement. And okay, I will tell you, on this property right here, it is crazy. Again, guys, just do what you say you're going to do. So this property right here, when I bought it, you can see the condition that it was in, because that's kind of what I do. I like it that way. That's fun for me. I bought it that way, and let's just say it was on their radar, their being code enforcement's radar. This particular property ended up causing all kinds of issues, because what happened is, after I made the promise that I was going to go buy the property, I had bought the property, or I was in contract. Because remember what I said, if you write a contract, you close. During the process, so in this case, I had found the property before I had the money. So the property was under contract and I was moving forward. And then I was looking for the money. Someone came to the table and said, I'll give you the money. Then they changed their mind, but I'm still in contract. What decision do you make? You close. You figure out a way to close. If you need an extension, you extend. If you do whatever you've got to do. I closed. Okay? That also, the challenge with that is that there went my rehab money. I could find just enough money to close, but I didn't have money for rehab, so it sat. As it's sitting, code enforcement does their drive-by. I've only had the property a short while. They don't know this. They don't care. They just like, ooh, we need to tag and send this sucker in. Well, they didn't just do that. They went a whole new level. It wasn't just a fine, it was even better. On, I think it was February 9th of 2012, I find out that the mayor of the city has held a press conference to sue every property owner that owns property that is in disrepair. He holds the press conference on this property on ABC, NBC, and CBS. I find out because I'm watching it on the internet, looking at it going, boy, that property sure does look familiar. We have a problem. Okay? That's how that started. All right? Long story short, I flew over there. I've flown over there many times, sat with them, talked to them, let them know what was going on. And on my last trip, which was just a few weeks ago, the very same city attorney that is suing us, or that was filing the lawsuit for making us fix this up, which we were going to do anyway, and the judge presiding over the case, we're sitting down and we're talking, and they're so excited because of the work that we've done. I don't have any of the after pictures ready to show you just yet. I'll see if I can't get some ready for tomorrow. And we're about to move people in. And and I kid you not, some of the comments were, we've got other property we'd like to give you if you want to do the same thing. But what operative word did you hear in that statement? I heard it too. And you know why it happened though? It's because I did what I said I was going to do. That's it. Even though it did not go smooth. Even though I've had to spend way more just to get started and set up to get this thing going because I knew they were watching, right? I had to do it completely differently than I would have ordinarily done it. And that cost about 180 grand extra. The benefit is now much bigger because they're watching. All right. Now, one of the things that I want to underscore and say to you is we were going to do all those things anyway. And what's cool is that you want to act as though you're always being watched. We just got the privilege of finding out in a very unique way. And as your real estate portfolio grows, more and more people are going to take notice and interest and wonder who is this and how can they help. And, it doesn't really matter. The point is you're there to provide clean, safe, affordable housing anyway. So do that. And that's good. But you never know when you may be, quote unquote, called to the carpet, and you just need to make sure that as far as it depends on you, that you've done everything that you absolutely can do to make sure that things are running in the direction that you want it to. Now, that doesn't mean if things suddenly don't go the direction you want to, that you now have an excuse to quit. And I want to underscore that. You don't have that excuse to quit. And a phrase that I was taught a long time ago is I want you to fill in the blank on this sentence. If you can fill in the blank, you'll understand what I mean. I gave up all of my hopes and dreams for blank. If you can fill in that blank, then you got bigger issues. Hopefully you can't fill in that blank. You're not willing to fill in that blank, even if you can. And there were many issues in this particular transaction, and I just want to share it with you so that you understand that it's not always going to go as simply or as directly as you hope, and that's okay. It's completely fine. You can still, quote unquote, fix it, make it great, and have lots of fun providing clean, safe, affordable housing. And that's exactly what you must do. Now, you've got to be willing to bear the heat, because, especially if, you're being misunderstood. And it's not about being understood, it's about understanding. And as you continue to listen and understand what the community needs, you'll get better at it. And that becomes, it becomes more fun at the end of the day. Awesome. So hopefully you've enjoyed listening live. I really, really do hope that's the case. If you have any comments or questions about any of the segments, etc., feel free to send us a message or just go ahead and call in to the message line at 800-689-1764, 800-689-1764. Or, would be really neat if you've learned anything that you found particularly helpful. Feel free to, send me a note, send in a message on the message line. Let me know that too. That would be greatly appreciated. Of course, I personally listen to these messages and do my best to respond to them as well. So with that being said, hopefully you taken some time here now. We spent a few episodes sharing with you some new ideas, some new things. For those of you, if you don't remember, you're like, man, I would love to hear the rest of that training. That was what we've heard was, a few minutes from, I think it was a 2 or 3 day training. I can't remember. And all of that's recorded and inside our premium membership. Feel free just to go over to the website, become a premium member, and you'll have the ability to access all of the live recordings along with every, transcripts and all kinds of stuff that we have in there. So hopefully this has been an excellent episode for you, and I will see you guys in a few days, like 7 of them, right? Talk to you soon. Until next time.
Thank you for investing your time with Jay Massey and the CashFlow Diary. When you have a moment, please visit iTunes and leave a positive comment about the show. And go now to our website, CashFlowDiary.com, to take advantage of our free business building course, Cashflow Foundation. Gain the knowledge, understanding, and skill that will teach you how to never need a job again. Until next time.